our president, Jennifer Bliesner. So, Jennifer, you may have noticed that we were wearing Hawaiian shirts. And the reason why is because we knew you weren't able to go to the International Convention because it was canceled, and also because of your travels, okay? So we're here to be able to, as past presidents, to be able to recognize you. So we're gonna start off, well, first of all, we want to thank our greeters. Past presidents, can you wave your hands there? Past presidents, there they are. Woo, woo, woo. All right, we're gonna start off with our music. Past President Doug Rich.
Fellow orchestra want to come forward to the microphone, please. We're going to be doing the Cougar Fight song in just a little bit. But before we start, Karen Island was digging through her dad's stuff. He was a member of the WSU Veterinary Club way back in the day. I'm sure you all know who Butch the Cougar is, the mascot for WSU. Before that, they actually had actual animals. And there was a picture from one of the very last ones, and Karen wanted you to have this, so...
I was there.
Now we'll be performing the fight song in a bit, but if there are any Huskies that would like to join me, I have 2 purple kazoos. So, no takers?
Come on.
It's all brought in, guys. Ready? Here we go. 3, 4.
Thank you, past President Doug. Appreciate that. And also our fellow Cougs in the house there. We'd like to have past President Kurt Laberton come with the invocation.
Thank you, past President Eric. So it turns out once you've been past president long enough, you sort of metamorph like a butterfly or something. So when that happens, you're given insights into the cosmic realities that you might not otherwise have known. In fact, one of these relates to invocation, and I have had a vision, essentially, of what happened the night that Jennifer was selected. So this is, as I recall, in that fever dream, this is what had happened. God was gathered in the celestial realm with all of his support crew around him, and he said, guys, we have got a tough task ahead of us. This, is the Silvers case, we got that planned out. That's going to be, let's face it, the pits. But the one after that, we're going to throw things at Eric that are just awful, but after that, it really gets seriously bad. I mean, if you look at the schedule for that presidency, it's just awful. It's going to be demanding. You need a really quality individual. Yakima Rotary is going to need somebody special. There's got to be a person that's tough, tenacious, never gives up, hangs in there at all times. It's got to be the kind of individual you get to see so rarely. One thing is clear to me. First of all, it's got to be a woman. And right, and then everybody said, well, duh, that's a given. But beyond that, he said, what we need is somebody that is just never quits. I mean, no matter how many times they get their hopes built up, they come crashing down. No matter how many times they think they've got victory in hand, something happens. They've trained their entire life to be never-endingly optimistic, positive, a leader at all costs. I've looked around. I don't see a lot of these critters out there. These are very rare things. A moment of pause, and God being God says, I've got it. I want a Coug. Go out and get me that Jennifer Bliesner person. She's the one for the job. So a few minutes later, the crowd of our board leaves, and they go and knock on a door and thinking they'd actually done something, but of course it all comes from divine intervention. So with that in mind, and I'm pretty sure that's how it happened, let's join our hearts in prayer. Thank you, Creator of the universe, God of all that is good. Thank you for this last year, for putting us back together, either here or online digitally. and more as the days and weeks go by. And thank you for giving us the right leader at just the right time in Jennifer. Amen.
Jennifer, it's been a tough year. I got to tell you, it's been a tough year. But, you know, I got to tell you that you had to deal with the COVID. You had to deal with a very successful virtual fundraiser, telethon, and staying organized with a never-ending smile on your face. And so we salute you. So we'd like to all, any new members that came in the year that Jennifer is president, would you please stand so we can make sure we recognize you? If you became a member during Jennifer's year. Okay. So next we have Sergeant of Arms, past President Rick Pinnell.
Thank you, Eric. Jennifer, Terry, and your family, it's great to be able to have a little Sergeant of Arms today. Oh, these guys are past presidents and they're going to do their parts, but I guess they think that I may take too much of their time, so they're...
We're going to take a lot of your time.
yeah, take my time. A little anxious to get to the mic, obviously. So, but that's, with past presidents, you got to be patient, and we know they always follow the time to deal. So, I'm going to ask everybody a question about these past presidents. I'll have them introduce themselves, but who is the most junior past presidents of the 5 of us, meaning the most recent past president, and who is the most senior of the 5 of us that are sitting up here? So, ding, 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 ding. Keep that in your mind. Okay, so I'm going to have them introduce themselves and the year they were president. So then if you missed this, you'll pay $1 for each one. That'll be $2 in case your math isn't not too good. Okay, starting with Paul.
I think you can hear me. I'm Paul Larson, 2005, 2006.
I'm David Hargraves, 2012, 2013. John Atkinson, 2014, 2015. Harold Moon, 2003, 2004.
Okay, so who is the most recent past president? That would be John Atkinson, for those of you who didn't hear that. And who is the most senior of these? It'd be Rick Pinnell, 1988, 33 years ago. 33 years ago, this is my day, and each one of us recognized the day that we had during that time. So if you missed that. Now, this has been a really tough year for Yakima charities and getting money. So all the past presidents, make sure you're up, because I want you collecting money, because there's going to be a lot of it today. And we're going to try to make up the loss today. So there's no limits on fines when the past presidents conduct a meeting. So get out more than just your few bucks. Just get all your cash out. There's no 2 fine limit. Get all the bills out now. Now, I'm going to help out and be fair to those. If you feel that you're going to pay more than $20, a good feeling to have, you can pull $20 out now and you're exempt from all the rest of the fines. So pull your 20 if you think you're going to go over that.
Hey, past President Rick, can you hear me? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
To talk about Jennifer's year, I want, without a doubt, to honor Dwayne Monick. I don't think we would have had any meetings this year without Dwayne Monick.
Can you text her? Yeah. See if you can get her on the phone.
So I think he deserves more than that. I want everybody to take $1 out, and I want you to stand up and thank Dwayne, because without this year, I think Jennifer would be the first to stand up without Dwayne. So Jennifer had when we had our first meeting to talk about this, I also used the word, Eric says, what's an adjective to describe about Jennifer this year? And I said tough, same thing Eric started out with. She did a great job. So if you did not attend at least 50% of the meetings this year, pull out $5 and put it in. That'd be $5, put it in. I know that a lot of you, I don't want to go through the four-way test today, so. Now, the second part of Jennifer's year, if you did not send a check to Yakima Rotary, to Carolyn and Lorna for fines this year, I want you now to pay $10 for that. So bring your $10 out. If you didn't send money into Carolyn for any of the fines you should have been doing. Okay, now finally we're going to talk about Jennifer. So let's discuss her year. Are you ready, Jennifer? Okay.
As everyone knows, I'm the club's self-appointed historian. And I'm here, everybody knows 5 degrees separates everybody. I'm here to tell you why she's 5 degrees away from Lewis and Clark. Not really. But Jennifer, you may not know, is about 1 degree away from me. So, get your dollars out and get ready to answer these questions. We were both raised in the same city. What was it? Tacoma, the city of destiny. Thank God we left. We both graduated, and by the way, Jennifer was born in 1972. I was married before that. I could have been your dad. We both graduated from the same high school. Which high school was it? No, it's Stay Dumb. That's Stadium High School. You're correct. Jennifer was involved with a world-renowned festival in Tacoma. Happens in the spring. What is the festival? That's right. She was a daffodil princess, and I dated a daffodil princess. But not Jennifer. She wasn't born yet. Well, maybe after she was born. We both went to college. We both married a spouse whose first name starts with the same or finishes with the same last letter. What letter is it, and what are their names? It's Y, and it's Terry, and it's Christy. See, we're really close. We both moved to Yakima. Of course, everything here I'd done first, and she moved to Yakima in 1994. We're both presidents of the finest Rotary Club in the world. But this is one no one's going to get, so I won't fine you, but it's kind of near and dear to my heart. My father, Charles, and her grandfather, his name is Kenny Aller, great photographer, one of the real renowned photographers of the Pacific Northwest. They were best friends. And I can remember from a little kid doing boating on the Storfisk, Norwegian, and Kenny had the Shutterbug. And we spent a lot of time together, and this was long before Jennifer was born, but we've got a close relationship, and Jennifer, congratulations.
So I bet you can't wait for what the next part of his for the commission. So Paul Larson could not get into WSU, like Jennifer did. So all the but Paul did get into Stanford. That was a good job, Paul. So all you non-Cougars pay $1, and all you Stanford people pay $2 in honor of Paul. Well, as we were having our meeting of the past presidents talking about today, the more the background of Jennifer's year became clearer to me, and it's kind of like the rest of the story for those of us who remember Paul Harvey. So I found out also the advantages of Zoom meetings. So let me share with you the rest of the story. I was so impressed every meeting to see Jennifer sit at the table, so prim and proper, just like she is right here. Legs, she's got the nice dress, everything looked perfect. Smiling, totally in control. She seemed so at peace in this virtual setting. Very, very impressive.
Whoa. Slow down, Sparky.
Oh,
Slow down, Sparky. What many of you may not know is that Jennifer is a prolific wine drinker. She is a connoisseur of fine wines. So, you know, when she sat at that table during the Zoom meetings, always so calm, always so coiffed, it was amazing. But we took a look under that table, and let me show you what we found. Now, I don't want to imply that President Jennifer has a problem. Actually, quite to the contrary. She follows the American Heart Association recommended not more than 1 glass of wine a day. Here she is, enjoying her glass of wine last night. And after this year, you deserve that. So thank you, girl. You did a great job.
So that brings us to wine people. All those that like to drink wine, please also pay $1. Thank you. So one of the themes that we heard this year was Rotarians going places. That was one of our themes. I thought this theme was a little strange since all of us Rotarians were locked down and we weren't going anywhere. So I couldn't quite figure out what that meant. And so I reflect.
Rick, there's a problem here.
Oh.
There was some major discussion at our pre-meeting of past presidents about the issue of attendance. The fact is that if you look carefully at the past records, the past presidents over the last couple of decades have had a very specific loyalty to attendance of these meetings in Yakima. It turns out that the average not in attendance in Yakima per president was 2.233 per year. So the question involves the attendance. Now, how many meetings do you think were missed by our current president this last year? And perhaps we should have the audience make a decision on numbers. We can discuss that after we make a decision on the numbers. So, did Jennifer not be present for 4 meetings or 8 meetings, 10 meetings, or 12 meetings? So let's make a decision on that, and then the reality is 10 meetings. 10 meetings. So that's 1 out of 4, essentially. I don't know what you do with that issue.
Nice job on the Zoom. So this is a big surprise to a lot of us, and if you didn't get that answer right, why don't you pay $1 for that? My guess, when we talked about this is such a surprise to us, well, where was she? I mean, I thought she was there every week, and so does anybody know where she was? Oh, Daryl. Daryl.
It's not that we had somebody following you around, Jennifer, but just let me run through a couple of things here. Jennifer was away for a few meetings, even though she was Zooming in with us, and we sort of added up the mileage of how many miles she traveled while she was away. Well, we know that she was in Lincoln City, Oregon 1 time, round trip, that's 554 miles. She was in Pullman, Washington 4 times, that's round trip 290 miles. And I think maybe she might have been there a time or 2 more than that. She was in Miami, Florida 1 time. She and the family were in Miami. That's round trip 6,394 miles. She was in Park City, Utah. That's 1,460 miles round trip. She was in Kellogg, Idaho more than once, several times, as I recall, and that's 544 miles round trip. Paso Robles, California. She was there for 6 days, and that's 1,746 miles round trip. And she just returned from Costa Rica, which is 6,614 miles round trip. And if you add all those together, That is 17,602 miles, which is approximately 3/4 of the way around the world. And we know that she was away from this podium right here 66 days. So there you go, Vice President Rick.
So the theme maybe should have been Jennifer going places and the rest of us stuck at home. We should have, if you would have been truthful with us, you would have told us where you were, and then we could have just had that section every time for you. So now it's time for some luxury finds. If you can be gone more than you are here, then you've been gone more than her, we're going to be, that's called a luxury find. So we're going to start, how many of you traveled in the past Rotary year for pleasure, not for business, more than Jennifer's 17,000 miles? You pay $5, such as a luxury tax, of outdoing our president. I'm going to see anybody's got hands up. Good job, Terry. Well, that was the last question we had, but we solved that one. So how many of you were traveling for pleasure over 66 days this past year when you were locked down? Pay $5 if that was your case. You weren't gone? Yeah, you again. Well, you are a Rotarian, Terry, and so we've heard where Jennifer's been this year, yet conducting meetings. So to be fair to her, let's see how many of you, by voice, I'm not going to fine you this time, by voice, have been to the following places she's been. But I want you to yell very loudly, yes, if you've been to these places. Are we ready? Lincoln City.
Yes.
You been? No, wait a minute. You've all been to Lincoln City this past year?
Oh,
Let me go through this again, Rotarians. I believe I said if you were not in these places. So no, if you were in these, here, let's start over again. If you were in these places that I mentioned, then you yell loudly, yes. If you weren't in those places, be quiet. In the last year, this last fiscal, we're here to celebrate her year. That's the whole theme here.
He's also a cougar.
Okay, Lincoln City.
yes.
No, you two cannot talk. Okay, we heard, let's say it again. All those that were in Lincoln City?
Yes.
Wow. Pullman?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Miami, Florida? Wait a minute. You guys are loading the deal. Okay, so this table is really doing good today. Park City, Utah? Oh, a few more. Kellogg, Idaho? Paso Robles? Costa Rica? Gee whiz. What did I miss about being home? I never went any. Wow, I'm impressed by this group. So another luxury find opportunity. If you said one of those places, except for Pullman, if you go to Pullman, you don't have to pay anything. You got to pay $5 for breaking all the rules of this year. So, Jennifer, as we kind of joke about your travels, all the past presidents did have to say, not one past president would have wanted to have a Zoom year. Not one of us could have done as great a job as you did in this difficult year. Not one of us would have been as smart as you were to do a great job plus travel most of the year. So Jennifer, as representing the past presidents, we applaud you for being our president in one of the toughest years any Rotarian president has had to have or could face. You did it admirably with class and with a smile in each and every meeting. Thank you for a great year, Jennifer.
Good job.
I get to announce past district governor, past president, Darrell Blue.
Thanks again. We have a little bit more information about President Jennifer and her year. In part, it started with her preparation for this job as president of our club. The president-elect has to attend a training workshop that's held for most of us in Seattle. It's called PETS, which stands for President-Elect Training Seminar. And we've got a picture here. That's not the right picture. Well, I don't know. I missed that part of PETS. I'd like to show you, here you go. Here is a picture of our president, and I'm going to step in and find anyone who does not know who the gentleman is who's standing next to her. Do you know who that is? That is Holger Knack, the president of Rotary International, and he was one of the speakers at this year's PETS. Carolyn, the next picture, please. If you haven't seen these shoes that Jennifer is wearing right now, she introduced most of us to that beautiful at PETS last year, and she wore it of the second night dinner at PETS training session, and shows you when it pops up here. Next picture. Oh, can you see that? That is the president of Rotary International, Holger Knack, taking a picture of Jennifer's shoes. And one of my assistants got that picture from me. I thought I had one, but didn't. Anyway, Jennifer has, we have an award that connects with this. Kelly Connaughton, are you there at the Greenway construction project? Hello? Kelly, are you with us?
Yes, we're here.
Okay.
We're here. I'm with
Okay,
Sunny.
take
Hello,
it away.
everybody. Go Cubs. Go Cubs. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so we're out here at the Rotary Build, and past President Rick Pennell, I just want to add a fine. I haven't seen you out here yet, and I've got all the money that you find the past presidents for, so you're going to have to come out here. It's 101 and get it. All right, so come on out, and I'll be happy to give you that money. No, we wanted to make sure that we honored Jennifer and just how much class and style she's brought to our club. But in the lines of what Darrell talked about in her shoes, we have an award to give Jennifer. It's a pair of shoes, a very perfect high-heeled pair. And on this award, it says to President Jennifer Bliesner, 2020-21, thank you for taking Yakima's Rotary to new heights with your shoes, Jennifer. Congratulations, Jennifer. We are so proud of you, and I'm so proud of you, and welcome to the Past Presidents Club.
And I have to say thank you and Goku.
Woohoo! Thanks, Darrell.
When we had our planning session, we had discussed the fact that Jennifer set a new standard for shoes for our future presidents of this club. John Ball, you'll be relieved to know that we could not find a pair of high heels in your size. So. Thanks, John.
That was fantastic. So now we have a special presentation for you. So if you can look at the screen here while I pause and do a song dance here while we give you a minute. While we're waiting for that, can we get a motion from the past presidents to be able to ask Jennifer to be a part of our Past Presidents Club? Okay. Are we ready to vote? Are you sure? Okay. All those, any questions, by the way? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those that oppose, congratulations.
Hello, Yakima Rotary and President Jennifer Bliesner. For my safety, I've elected to conceal my identity today, but I'm here to expose all of the dark secrets of Jennifer Bliesner's presidential term. This will reveal everything about your precious president, my dearest Rotarians. I hope you all remember that video that Jennifer played before she walked in your first meeting back in person. While she presented that as a skit, I can assure you that it was not. None of the scenes were staged. All of that was a documentary. And I would know, because I was the co-director and cinematographer. This woman has fearlessly led you through this challenging and difficult year, but I regret to inform you that she is not fearless. She's afraid of roller coasters, ski lifts, and bugs. I'll give you all time to process this horrible, yet true statement. Now I know what you're all thinking. How does this girl, who's not even in the Rotary Club, know so much about the Rotary president? Well, the answer's actually quite simple. Your Rotary president is none other than my mother. While I've been away this year studying at Washington State University, I have kept notes and notes and notes on all of my conversations with my mom regarding Rotary. All just so I could come to this last meeting and tell you all the cold, hard truth about Jennifer Bliesner. So here goes nothing. Your Rotary president is brave, kind, intelligent, passionate, innovative, and beautiful. When she talks to me about Rotary and all you do for the community, her eyes light up. She cares so much for everyone in this room. I know she's sitting there feeling a mix of emotions right now. Definitely a little sadness because it's almost over, but maybe even just a little bit of happiness because it's almost over. I know that this club could not have picked anyone better to lead you through this confusing year. Mom, I hope you're listening, because I enlisted the help of a few people to tell you how proud we are.
Congrats, Mom. I'm so proud of you for doing such a great job this year. Even with all of the challenges that you had and being remote the whole year, you still did such a great job, and I'm so proud of you. The only problem that I had is when you told me to get off of the Wi-Fi during your meetings. That being said, I'm still so proud of you, and you did such a great job this year. Congrats.
I love my mom. Even though she put me on a diet and is feeding me nasty vegetables, I'm still so proud of her. I'm gonna miss being able to sit under her chair during the meetings. I used to get so many pets.
As they said, congratulations on such a fantastic year. No matter what was thrown at you, you took it head on. I've been so amazed with you, especially with that playground. You're gonna bring so much joy to so many little kids in Yakima. Even older ones, because I'm 20 and I can't wait to play on it. I love you so much, and I've never been so proud to call you my mom.
The tears are flowing, especially from me. So Jennifer, as you well know, we are a big club in a small town with a big heart, doing big things, not only in Yakima, but across the whole world. And thank you for your leadership. So I have some wonderful things for you. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians, your president, Jennifer Bliesner. we have a couple of things for you, Jennifer. We have your, well, I'll start off with the badge. Yeah, so you got your past president badge. And we have your plaque, Jennifer President 2020, 2021. Remember those dates because Rick will be asking you, okay? And we have your past president's pin with the diamond in there. Oh my goodness.
This one off.
All right. Thank you. All right. I'm going to leave the podium to Jennifer, okay?
Oh my goodness. It's hard enough to get up here without being emotional on top of it. Thank you so very much. You know, it's an absolute honor to be accepted into such an esteemed group of past presidents. Now, you may have heard you never give a past president the microphone, but I haven't actually gotten to speak in this very much this year, so I hope you'll indulge me. Okay, I've got 10 minutes I'm gonna go through here. I have some very special people here. I think you've kind of figured it out, and without their support, truly, I would not have been able to do it all. Starting with the first gentleman and fellow Rotarian, Terry Bliesner. The conversation, yes. It's true, the conversation in our household has been dominated by the subject of Rotary for about 3 years now, but certainly we didn't have any idea that Rotary would literally take over the household with the Zoom meetings in the living room. And Katie and Aiden, thank you so very much for your support in that video. And they're joined by our friend Sam too. Thank you all for your support. I'm really excited because they're all going out on the playground build this weekend. And I told them, I said, you're gonna point at that later and go, I helped build this. So at least that's how I sold it to them. But don't tell them about the temperatures this weekend. Next, I want to thank our very dedicated board of directors. They meet every month. Certainly helping be on a board of a nonprofit during this year has been one of the most challenging, but they all rose to that challenge. Thank you. Next, I'd like to recognize everybody who chaired a committee. You all took this club from what has always traditionally been done to what needed to be done. To name a few different things that happened as you know this year: virtual greeters, invocations, music, programs, Sergeant at Arms, Rotarians Are Going Places, telethons promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, building student desks, building playgrounds, and even a drive-through Christmas program. Thank you all. Next, I want to recognize three very special people. First, I don't have to tell you that without Dr. Dwayne Monick that this would not have been done. Thank you so much. Next, Lorna's outside of the room, but I know she's running the whole Zoom, and I want to say thank you to Lorna for being such an amazing help for all of that we've been doing, and now to be called fellow Rotarian makes my heart so happy. So thank you, Lorna. And finally, when you're the president of a Rotary Club this size, there is no way you could do this job alone. Before becoming president, I already knew that Executive Director Carolyn Flory was a huge asset to this club. But what I didn't quite understand is how much she does for the president. Many executive directors of nonprofits stand in the spotlight, but that's not Carolyn. She is always there, though, and an amazing leader. She is respectful, kind, and thoughtful. She's often the only one in the room that knows the answer to the question, but she always handles it with style and grace, and she never steps on toes. Carolyn, thank you for putting up with all my crazy texts and my thousands and thousands of emails. I am so honored to call you a friend and my fellow Rotarian. Thank you. And finally, I want to thank each and every one of you. You volunteered for projects, you kept paying your dues and meals. Thank you for doing that. And you donated to fundraisers, and you attended meetings, whether here in person or on Zoom. Thank you, every single one of you. Please join me in a round of applause to honor all of you. You see, who you are makes a difference. On Monday, I presided over the club board meeting for the last time as president, and I'm a little old school, so I still have a board notebook with all the agendas and the minutes in it. As I was putting that board notebook away in the cupboard, I found this. It's a little blue ribbon, and it's colored in crayon, and it's inscribed with the words, "Who I am makes a difference." Our son Aiden gave it to me when he was about 7 years old, and he's 17 now, but is still taped to the cupboard, and I found it again on Monday. Maybe you've heard this story before, but I'd like to share it with you. A teacher in New York decided to honor each of her high school seniors by telling them the difference they each made. She called each student to the front of the class one at a time. First, she told them how they had made a difference to her and to the class, and she presented them with a blue ribbon with gold letters that says, "Who I am makes a difference." Afterwards, the teacher decided to do a class project to see what kind of impact recognition would have on the community. She gave each of the students 3 more ribbons and instructed them to go out and spread this acknowledgement ceremony. Then they were to follow up on the results and see who honored whom and report back to the class. Well, one of the boys in the class went to a junior executive in the nearby company and honored him for helping him with his career planning. He gave him a blue ribbon and put it on a shirt, and he gave him 2 extra ribbons and said, "We're doing a class project on recognition, and what we'd like you to do is go out, find somebody to honor, give them a blue ribbon, and then give them the extra one so they can acknowledge a third person. Then please report back what happened." Later that day, the junior executive went in to see his boss, who had been kind of a grouchy fellow. He sat his boss down and told him that he deeply admired him for being a creative genius. The boss seemed very surprised. The junior executive asked if he would accept the gift of the blue ribbon and would he give him permission to put it on him. His surprised boss said, "Well, sure." The junior executive took the blue ribbon and placed it right on the boss's jacket above his heart. As he gave him the last extra ribbon, he said, "Would you do me a favor? Would you take this extra one and pass it on and honor somebody else? The young boy who first gave me the ribbon is doing a school project, and we want to keep this recognition ceremony going and see how it affects people." That night, the boss came into the house and sat down with his 14-year-old son. He said, "The most incredible thing happened today. I was in my office, and one of the junior executives came in, and he told me he admired me. He gave me a ribbon and said I was a creative genius. Then he put this blue ribbon on, and it says, 'Who I am makes a difference,' and he put it right above my heart. He gave me an extra ribbon, and I could pass it on. Well, as I was driving home tonight, I started thinking about you. My days are really hectic, and when I come home, I don't always pay a lot of attention to you. Sometimes I scream at you for not getting your grades high enough and your bedroom being a mess. But somehow tonight, I wanted to sit down and, well, just let you know that you make a difference to me. Besides your mother, you are the most important person in my life. You're a great kid, and I love you." The startled boy started to sob, and he couldn't stop crying. His whole body shook. He looked up at his father and said through his tears, "Dad, earlier tonight I sat in my room and wrote a letter to you and Mom explaining why I had killed myself and asking you to forgive me. I was going to commit suicide tonight after you were asleep. I didn't think you cared at all. The letter's upstairs. I don't think that I need it after all." His father walked upstairs and found a heartfelt letter full of anguish and pain. The envelope was addressed to Mom and Dad. The boss went back to work a changed man. He was no longer a grouch, but made sure to let all of his employees know that they made a difference. The junior executive helped other people with career planning and never forgot to tell them that they make a difference, including in the life of his boss's son. And the young boy and his classmates learned a valuable lesson. Who you are does make a difference. Every Thursday, you wear a blue badge with gold writing on it in place of a ribbon. And I hope that you know that you make a difference to our club, to our community, and to me personally. For those of you here in the room, under your plate, you're going to find 3 more ribbons. I hope that you will cut them out and pass them along. You'll never know the impact you can make by expressing gratitude to another person. Who would have thought that this ribbon that Aiden gave me 10 years ago would be something that I could share with you today? Who you are makes a difference. Thank you, my fellow Rotarians. It has absolutely been an honor. And with that, I get to ring this bell another time. I get to do it next week. Oh, no, I don't. John does it next week. All right, well, I'm ringing the bell. You guys have an awesome afternoon. Thank you very, very much. And I hope to see you at that playground build this weekend.